Jay-Z did not answer the Murder Inc. move with another diss record. He did something colder. He stood beside the man Murder Inc. hated most, 50 Cent. By 2003, 50 was not simply another rapper trying to enter the game. He was a threat moving directly toward Irv Gotti's front door. He had survived being shot 9 times. He had rebuilt his career after losing his first record deal. He had gained the support of Eminem and Dr. Dre. Now his debut album was turning him into one of the most powerful new artists in America. But success was only part of what made 50 dangerous. He was already at war with Murder Inc., a personal war, a public war, a war that had grown through street confrontations, diss records, insults, accusations, and years of resentment. 50 did not want a peaceful relationship with Irv Gotti and Ja Rule. He wanted to damage their credibility. He wanted to weaken their business. He wanted the world to believe Murder Inc.'s time was ending. The feud had begun years before Nas approached the label, and it would become one of hip-hop's longest and most bitter rivalries. That made 50 Cent useful. Nas had moved toward one of Jay-Z's longtime friends. Jay could now move toward Irv Gotti's greatest enemy. This is where the story stops looking like a normal rap battle. It begins to look like a war between families. One side invites your enemy to dinner, so you begin doing business with the man who is trying to burn down their house. Nobody has to say the word revenge. The message is already clear. Years later, Irv Gotti said the Nas situation changed his relationship with Jay. According to Irv, Jay made it clear that Irv was dead to him after entertaining the idea of signing Nas. Irv also said that his decision opened the door for Jay to work with 50 Cent, leaving Irv in no position to complain. That was Irv's memory of the fallout, his version of what the decision cost him. Think about the reversal. Irv had helped Jay create Super Ugly. Then Irv entertained Nas. Nas appeared with Ja Rule and Ashanti. Now Jay began appearing with 50 Cent. Every move created another counter move. Every new alliance pulled another enemy into the room. The battlefield was growing, and Nas was no longer the man standing alone. Murder Inc. had once appeared to strengthen Nas. Now that the same alliance gave Jay a reason to strengthen 50. This is the danger of bringing a new person into a family dispute. You may believe you are gaining one ally, but you could also give your old ally permission to join your enemy. Sun Tzu warned leaders to study alliances before entering a war. An alliance not only gives you strength, it changes how everyone around you behaves. The moment Nas moved toward Murder Inc., Jay no longer had to treat Irv like a protected friend. The rules had changed. Loyalty had already been broken. At least that was how Jay saw it. By early 2003, Jay-Z had already entered a major partnership with Reebok. The company created the S. Carter collection, making Jay one of the first major non-athletes to receive his own signature shoe line. The partnership was not a small endorsement. It represented Jay's transformation from rapper to businessman. His name was no longer selling only albums. It was selling products. It was entering shopping malls. It was appearing in corporate meetings. It was becoming a brand. Then Reebok signed 50 Cent. The company announced a G-Unit footwear collection in June 2003, only months after launching Jay's S. Carter line. Reebok then brought the two rappers into the same larger marketing campaign. To the public, it looked like smart business. Jay-Z was established. 50 Cent was exploding. Both men had powerful brands. Both men represented New York. Both men could help Reebok compete for the attention of young music fans. That explanation is reasonable. But in hip-hop, business decisions can carry multiple meanings. A commercial can sell sneakers. It can also send a warning. Reebok filmed advertising featuring Jay-Z and 50 Cent after giving both artists signature footwear collections. The company also sponsored the Rock the Mic tour, which placed Jay and 50 together during the summer of 2003. This was not a photograph taken at a party. It was not two artists accidentally standing in the same room. It was business, organized business, contracts, advertising, tour dates, corporate money, repeated public appearances. Jay-Z was now connected to the man who had made destroying Murder Inc. part of his identity. For Irv Gotti, the symbolism had to be difficult to ignore. He had considered bringing Nas into his company. Jay was now building with 50. The man Murder Inc. wanted to defeat was receiving major corporate support, besides one of Irv's oldest friends. Chris Gotti would later claim that Jay deliberately worked with 50 to spite Irv over the attempt to sign Nas. According to Chris, Jay defended the decision by calling it good business. That claim comes from Chris Gotti's later account. It does not prove that revenge was written into Jay's Reebok contract or that the entire partnership was created to punish Irv. But it shows how people inside Murder Inc. understood the move, and perception matters, especially in a world built on relationships. Jay did not have to announce that he was taking sides. Standing beside 50 said enough. That is how sophisticated power works. A weak leader screams. A strategic leader changes his position and allows everyone else to understand what it means. Jay had watched Nas enter Murder Inc.'s orbit. Instead of chasing Nas back into the studio, Jay moved toward a more dangerous piece on the board. 50 Cent had the music industry behind him. He had Eminem, he had Dr. Dre, he had Interscope, he had G-Unit, he had an audience fascinated by his survival story. Most importantly, he had the hunger of a man who believed Murder Inc. had tried to keep him from entering the business. Nas could damage Murder Inc. by leaving. 50 could damage Murder Inc. by staying. That was the difference. Nas's connection to Murder Incorporated was uncertain. The 50's hatred for Murder Incorporated was permanent. Nas may have wanted leverage. 50 wanted war. Jay did not have to instruct 50 to attack Irv. He did not have to write the insults. He did not have to enter every argument. He only had to stand near him. Sometimes the most powerful message is not what a leader says. It is those he allows the world to see beside him. The Rock the Mic tour made that image larger. Jay-Z brought members of the Roc-A-Fella family. 50 brought G-Unit. Night after night, the two organizations traveled through the country under the same banner. Jay had the established empire. 50 had the new army. Together, they represented two different forms of power. Jay represented a position, 50 represented disruption. Jay knew how to move through the corporate world. 50 knew how to create fear in the streets and excitement in the marketplace. Murder Inc. was now trapped between both forces. The label still had successful artists. Ja Rule was still famous. Ashanti was still a star. Irv was still a respected hitmaker, but momentum was beginning to change. The 50's rise gave the public another story to follow. His attacks made Murder Inc. appear defensive. Every response from Ja Rule created another headline. Every argument received 50 more attention. Every attempt to silence him made him look more dangerous. This is how a powerful organization begins losing control of its image. Not always through one devastating attack. Sometimes it happens through 100 small reactions. A joke, a diss record, an interview, a commercial, a tour, a photograph, an old friend standing beside the wrong man. Irv Gotti had once believed he controlled the room. Now the room was getting larger. Nas was on one side. 50 Cent was on another. Jay-Z was moving between music, touring, fashion, and corporate business. Murder Inc. was being pulled into conflicts from every direction, and the person who had helped begin the shift was Nas. Not because Nas created the war between 50 and Murder Inc. He did not. Not because Nas controlled Jay-Z's business decisions. He did not. Nas changed the battlefield by casting doubt on Irv's loyalty. Once that happened, Jay had fewer reasons to protect Irv from the consequences of his own choices. The Nas alliance gave Jay emotional and strategic permission to do business with 50. From Jay's position, the logic could be simple. Irv chose what was good for Murder Inc. Jay would choose what was good for Jay-Z. That is the language powerful men use when a friendship becomes inconvenient. It is only business, but the phrase usually appears after something personal has already happened. Jay could call the tour business, he could call the sneakers business, he could call the commercial business, and every statement could be true. But business can also become punishment. It can become distant. It can become a way of telling an old friend that the protection is over. Irv wanted Nas because Nas could take Murder Inc. to another level of respect. Instead, Nas's presence may have helped push Jay closer to the man who would become Murder Inc.'s greatest problem. That is the tragedy of ambition. Irv saw the artist he could gain access to. He did not see the ally he could lose. Nas saw an opportunity. Jay saw a betrayal. 50 saw an opening. Three men looked at the same situation and saw three different things. Nas saw leverage. Jay saw disloyalty. 50 saw a wounded organization, and wounded organizations attract hungry enemies. But the most dangerous part of Nas's move was still coming. Because Nas did not remain inside Murder Inc., he did not stay long enough to inherit every enemy standing outside the company. He stepped toward the family when the alliance gave him power. Then, before the full weight of Murder Inc.'s problems could fall on him, Nas began moving away. Irv Gotti was left with a damaged relationship. Jay-Z was left standing beside 50 Cent. Murder Inc. was left fighting for its future, and Nas was preparing to leave the table. The other men were still arguing over loyalty, but Nas had already taken what he needed from the room.